Well, welcome to Innervision FM music news and other kind of stuff. Uh, tonight Alan C is not gonna be here. I don't know, somehow he drinks some bad coffee and it's, he thinks he's passing a kidney stone or something like that. So he's at the health center getting that checked out. Hey Joe, he may be here tonight because it was a big storm all last week, and so. When he jumps in, he can. As you see the title, it's like big girls don't cry unless they work for the government. Okay. So I was just thinking when the pandemic was happening, uh, and they were saying they were picking, mostly the Democrats, they were picking winners and losers, and they would allow liquor stores, pot stores, big the big businesses like Walmart and King Soopers and Safeway like that. And yeah, did I say strip clubs? They would allow all those to be open. But what they didn't allow to be open were churches, um, a lot of restaurants, new businesses that were just getting starting. I even know that they went to this one was it a hamburger place or it was some kind of place that they had two chains. They had one in Colorado Springs and then they had one in Parker, and they brought the police there to lock the doors, lock this guy out of his business, um, and therefore he had to close one of his businesses. But did you see any TV shows like 60 Minutes. This past, I think it was past, not past Sunday, but I think it was like 2 weeks ago. You saw 60 Minutes showing this lady crying about she just lost her job with the government and stuff like that. But did you see any shows about businesses, small businesses, people who have spent their life savings on their business? Did you see any of them showcased on 60 Minutes? I hear crickets. I hear crickets. And why wasn't that? Why didn't 60 Minutes, who now is showing all these government workers, or showing a couple of government workers crying? Oh, and then on their show, they had this thing about the German police going from door to door. If you say something that offends somebody, they would arrest you and take away your phone, take away your computer, because if you say something that the government didn't agree with, they would take these things away. Then you would have to go to court. They would fine you a sum of money, and and sometimes they'll put you in prison just because of, and then they said, like, if you said something that offended somebody on the internet, that's even more serious because the internet is hard to get rid of it once it's on the internet. Could you imagine the um, the word police? I mean, we almost had, if we would have elected Hills Up, we would have had that here. But we just dodged a catastrophic happening that could have happened here. And I was looking for this lady who she's from Germany. I love the way she was saying. She says, she was talking about like, hey, Germany, we're going down the same line, but if we don't take the lead of America, we can continue down this line, or we could turn it around. And I liked it. I liked it. She could have said Calderon. It's like, I don't know if that was that. I thought she was Spanish, but they said she was German. But anyway, so it was kind of cool. Like, I've been looking for it, but of course, whenever I probably have to call the radio station and had them get it to me, because it's almost like ah, it's like But it was a good one. It was a good one, right? So then let's see. Okay, so then we went through all that, and people losing their livelihoods, losing their new business, uh, kids not being able to go to school. But one thing did come good, one good thing good came out of it. Parents started seeing what they were teaching their kids in school. And they said, "What? You're teaching my kids this? I'm paying taxes for you to teach my kids this?" And it's been a big exodus out of public schools because now, parents got a chance to see what's going on in these classrooms. And this is a guy, he runs this organization. His name is Kane. And by the way, they're going to have a prayer and protest in Fort Collins uh, for Tina Tina Peterson. I think it's Tina Peterson, to get her out of jail because because they sent her to jail for 9 years for looking into the computer, taking pictures of it, and saying that there's something going on with these computers that are changing votes and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, they're trying to get her to get a uh, get her released from prison, but we will see what happens from what happens with that, because she is a gold star mom, and if you haven't heard the story of Tina Peterson, the guy, okay, I guess her husband is having Alzheimer, so the government, uh, someone in the government of Colorado went to the hospital, and this guy, okay, he has dementia. He got this guy to sign papers to divorce her. Now, it wasn't his choice. It was it was the prosecutor or somebody in that realm, and I don't exactly remember like exactly who. So then, okay, so now she lost her son in one of the wars. Then her husband gets Alzheimer's. He's in prison. Hey, and so Tina Peters, they decided to throw the book at her, and now they want to give her a 9 year sentence, but there's going to be a protest. Hey Joe, how you doing, man?
Good. How are
Um,
you?
and I was just talking about Tina Peters, and it's going to be a big protest this coming Saturday to pray for her and hopefully get her somehow. I don't know, because it's not a federal crime, so then Trump could just pardon her, or somehow get this thing to be reversed where they put her in jail for 9 years for um, making images of that computer that was the voting machine. So, and then we were talking about, I guess, Joy Reid. They decided that to fire her, and I wonder what took so long.
Did they decide to fire or just
No, they fired
I was thinking they gave her a lower salary like Madoff.
her. No, they just straight out like said, "Hey, you got to go," and they're going to replace it with, I think, these three other people. Supposedly somebody who was a ex-RNC guy, um, which I'm not exactly sure, and then two other Democrats. So it could be so-called fair and balanced. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, she's just pulling her hair out. Oh wait, she doesn't have any.
Eh, well, yeah, she does wear that wig, so you don't know what's underneath there. It's like, but yeah. So I was almost watching this video like this. Oh, I guess she broke down, and it's like, I guess she was making a six figures, but hopefully, you put some money away until you get to your next gig, or she might try to get a podcast, which I wonder how, being that the ratings were so low and they let her go because of those low ratings, it's like, would it be enough people to even give her enough streams to get on top? Like Tucker Carlson, when he left, he was able to regain like an audience. and I
They're,
hmm?
they're going to put him in charge of something, aren't they? That's what I seen with
What, Tucker Carlson?
yeah,
Uh, I haven't heard
NBC or
yet.
something.
Hmm? Yeah, I haven't heard yet. The other guy, the Gambino, I mean, he's doing his last podcast today, which I'm gonna go see if I can find it. And he was almost in two,
He's joining FBI,
yeah. So he's the second in
vice chairman
command.
or vice
Yeah,
whatever.
second.
Yep,
So
that's
so
good.
and then I
I don't
heard,
care for Bongino because he kind of woke type of thing, you know. He's afraid to put out real news, but
oh, but do you think he's gonna wrestle against Cash about letting out that
no,
uh,
I don't think that
not a
he's
strong,
reserved.
he's not a strong suit. He's a beta. It could be a
I not necessarily. I
yeah.
mean, he just he just doesn't give the full truth on stuff
Hmm. We
from
get
what I've
enough news
seen.
reporters like that. Then I heard like in the middle of the night, somebody in the FBI was shredding papers.
Yeah,
So I heard that. So I'm gonna feel like I hope they find that person. Now he has to do time. If he's shredding evidence, shredding papers,
yeah,
and
that's federal offense. You
yeah,
can't do that. Even emails. You destroy emails, you go to jail for that stuff.
yeah. So now that if I know about it, then I know they know about it.
Yeah. See,
So
when I was working for FAA or working for Harris at FAA, uh, we couldn't remove emails. Period.
hmm,
They they were government property.
yes. And then I understand they're going to have their first staff, like everybody together meeting now that, most of the people are there. I don't think all of them are there. So they're going to have their first staff meeting. And I know that Elon Musk, he sent out an email saying, and it was funny. I think it was on TikTok. Uh, he wanted to know what they did last week.
Did they approve the Joint Chiefs of Staff? The
Um, I didn't hear, I didn't hear if they did or not. See that I hear a lot of stuff.
they were talking that he also has to go through Senate approval.
Hmm. See, I haven't heard that one yet. But so they're thinking, let's see, so so when Musk put out that email saying that midnight tonight, uh, they have to resign. And then I guess there's another email that they put out about, they're going to be compensated for until September. So they don't know like when that's going to start or that. So I have a feeling that, maybe Congress has something to do with allocating that money that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Now,
Department of Education is holding back. You got the same judge that did the Doge team last time. She's blocking the Department of Education stuff.
we're letting them go.
Yeah, letting Doge into the records.
Oh, into the records and
It's
oh man.
sensitive information.
Do you know as far as like the the one that takes care of the treasury, they said the first time that person has stuck was put into that place was I think they said 1935 and it's been only I think they said 15 in charge of that and usually nobody from the outside ever gets into the treasury as an appointed person in the treasury.
Yeah.
So I was looking at that, and then Woodrow Wilson, I heard that he was really into it, so he started developing all these deep state people to run the government behind the scenes,
Yeah,
kind of thing.
that's who allowed the central banks in.
Yeah. Now that would be cool if we could switch that thing. And I was saying something last night. Well, I don't know if it was on the Facebook with you were on, because some lady was crying about something, and I said, I wish it would get to a place where it was a flat tax, corporations 10%, other, 5%, 3%, and then get rid of all the IRS people, because you won't need that complicated of a tax form
Well,
in
you know
order
where
to,
the IRS came from, right?
hmm.
It came from alcohol, like
Oh,
ATF.
is that when they had all these bootleggers and stuff like that?
Well, no, this is way before that. There was alcohol taxes and stuff back in the early 1800s,
Hmm.
and ATF came from that, enforcing the taxation on it because all the moonshiners were getting their booze for free or selling it
Hmm.
without the tax and stuff. And then the ATF took care of that. And then the IRS started out of that.
Hmm.
I think that's the way it goes. I
That's
could,
wild.
yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So yeah, because I usually had to go back and see, and then I found out that I know Social Security and all that stuff started in 1935 with the what did he call it, um, the New Deal or something like that.
Oh, the
I, I know Roosevelt started that, right? Oh, yes. So then I said, because I heard about this guy. He was a blind guy. And he was a lawyer, and he started drawing up the papers to start up SSDI for those that were blind. That because back then it was like you're there on a corner with a cup of pencils, lead pencils, selling those, or you were a musician, or you were what was the other thing? Or you tuned pianos.
yeah, that always amazed me watching piano tuners, and they are always blind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a secure job vocation. But I thought they started SSDI back at the same time they started the Social Security, but no, it started in 1956.
Huh? SSDI?
Uh-huh, yes. So I said, wow, okay. I guess it took them a while to think about it, and so I know that this, and I don't remember the guy's name. I don't know. I don't remember the name of the guy but I know he was like he was studying to be a lawyer, and so he was working out the paperwork to submit it to get the law written up. So it's just yeah, it's just different things like that. It's kind of interesting. So so I was born in '59, so I didn't get on the dole of that until 78. And my mother was real mad because she says, I want you to just to work. And I said, "No, good." But I saw, like, I went to McDonald's, and this guy who was a veteran and had, I think, mm, I don't know if part of his hands were blown off or whatever. So he was afraid of what uh, the other workers would feel about having a visually impaired person there. And when I saw, that kind of stuff, I said, well, maybe getting just a simple job flipping hamburgers, maybe that might be di kind of difficult. So I said, let me get like something, a cushion.
You flipping burgers everywhere.
Yeah, it's like just
That
flipping
brings
burger.
in some goofy pictures in my head.
Or even just dunking fries, and then eventually, I guess when the ADA got started closer, I got this job at Taco Bell. And then I figured out how they make that stuff. 'Cause it's a bag of some powdered beans. So you just pour that in and put the water in and start stirring that around.
Refried powder.
Yeah, yeah. And then the chicken I mean, not the chicken, but the beef is just as bad. Put that in, you pour water in that and start stirring that around with the sauce and everything. And I said, man, and I like this. I used to like this stuff. So
Drop the chalupa.
yeah, man, it's like, gee. So it's like, So you really get it like when you go behind the scenes back in the kitchen, it's like, gee. But no, I just figured like, and then when I went to California, it was no way I wanted to work. Well, I did work at a kitchen, Denny's overnight. Uh, was it 11/7? And that was interesting as a dishwasher. But but when I first started, man, and when I started getting these guys say, "Oh, I don't know," and this and that, and humming and all that kind of stuff, I said, "Man, I gotta," because unlike some of my friends, some of them they want to stay with their mama, right? And myself, I said, "No, I got another idea. I want to go do a little bit of traveling and do some other things." But it is what it is. But then I know these blind kids that they stay with their parents and their parents do everything, and then their parents die, and then they can't figure out how to do it for themselves. And I think that's crippling a kid more than he should be crippled. But anyway, so SSI, that's when it started. And yeah. But anyway, but getting back to
Did you ever listen to Cheech and Chong?
yeah, I listened to a lot of his stuff.
Blind Mel
Yeah.
and Chitlin?
The what?
Blind Mel and Chitlin?
I think I did. I think I did hear that version of that joke. Yeah.
Hey,
I,
get him his harmonica.
I think I did see it. Didn't they put that in one of the movies too?
I
Because I,
maybe I don't remember. Blind Melon. I think they
'cause-
put him on when they were in Amsterdam.
yes, that's why I said, because I went back and I
Yeah.
saw this movie and they were in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if they were doing that on, I think they did it. It was part of the stage production.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bert and Mr. Dolly.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Shoot. That was,
Yeah.
man,
Blind
this,
Melon was on their first album, Big Bamboo.
mm. And so they had to, of course, they had to transfer it to their TV production. But that was a pretty bizarre movie.
All
That
their
one.
movies are pretty bizarre. Corsican Brothers, Things Are
Hmm,
Tough All Over, um, Up in Smoke.
I saw that one.
Yeah.
I think the one I liked the best. Well, it sort of had cheeks. No, it sort of had a Chong in it, but the Born in East LA,
Oh yeah, he Cheech Marin, yeah. And he got deported to Mexico.
Tijuana. Yeah. But but it was like I think Chong played the ICE agent, right? When he said like I have one question to ask you. Where were you born, boys? I said, yes. I think that was Chong playing that part.
Oh, really?
And then it
Been
was
a
a
while
part,
since I've watched that. I think I've got that on a hard drive somewhere.
and then it was one part at the end when he was dressed up as a lady, uh, and he was saying some kind of crazy stuff. It's been a long time since I see it, but it was at the end where this lady was looking for something and babbling and stuff like that, and that was him in the dress. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think, I don't know if, I think I bought the movie because I have a few movies that I bought and they're just at demand on my phone. I may have to watch that one again. That is, yeah. Some of those movies were very funny. And then when I was living in LA, and it was kind of crazy. They had all these Mexican theaters, and all of them were playing it, right? And I'm thinking like they're right beside each other. It's almost like, are you gonna fill all those theaters up? And I guess maybe they did, because I mean it was like, here one of our own, made a feature length movie. But they probably did that with all of their movies. But I was just in LA at that time when that one came out. And oh yeah, and then on Innervision FN, I did do a history of Cheech and Chong, like when they met in Canada. The only reason do you know the only reason they met in Canada was because Cheech was running away from the Vietnam War.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So then so he went out there, and Sean was in a band, and the band was, they worked there where Motown signed them, but I think no, or no, they sounded too much like another R&B group, and they say, hey, we already got a group like that, so they didn't get signed, but they almost got close to being signed, and then they met each other, and then that's when they started collaborating. Uh,
People talking to me, trying to tell me how to live. Dun, 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 dun.
uh, oh yeah, that's Eric. Oh no, was that Eric? My eye? Say,
Earache
oh
my
yeah, yeah,
eye.
yeah, yeah. That was on that one. That was in that segment. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, and now I guess Chung is like 85, because I guess he was a little bit older than Cheeks Meredith. So I think Cheeks Meredith is 79 now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because I seen an interview, he did an interview with Jesse Peters on the internet, and I don't know, man. He's still he's an interesting guy. So that's how I found out that he was that's how they met is in Canada. So yeah,
Well, there's fun in a lot of you there then, eh?
there was a lot. What? Okay.
That was, what was that one on? That was on the same one with the earache my eye.
Hmm. Yeah,
Le
and then
Morpion.
did you see? Okay, now I remember for some reason I remember this album cover. It was them it was like a picture of them in a car. They had the beards and mustache, and I think that was the one that they had the song Basketball Jones on it. And it was like a green cover, and it was them like sitting in a car, and that someone had took a picture of them through the window, sitting in the car. That's weird how you just because the albums were big back then, so it
Yeah.
was big where I can see it. But I think I might have bought that album, and that's the one with Dave's Not Here in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, so getting back to the Joy Reid, uh, I was saying, do you remember any 60-minute specials showcasing small businesses that were put out of business, showcasing restaurant waiters and stuff like that couldn't work, and them crying about, well, we don't have a job now? Did you see any 60-minute showcasing how that shutdown was hurting the small guy?
No. I heard
See, I,
about, they had the things on the gay wedding stuff where people lost their business over the gay wedding stuff because they refused to do the wedding cakes and stuff like that.
oh yeah,
But
Philip I got his name. Yeah, I think it's Phil. And I don't remember his last name, but yeah, yeah, they kept going after him, and eventually I want to get around to going over to the shop and at least buying something, you know. But but then there was a lot of chicken politicians here in Colorado that, they say, hey, come down, 'cause we're doing a fundraiser for them, and they wouldn't show up. But they wanted to signify that, hey, I support them, but they wouldn't physically show up. So it was just talk. It was just more talk and
yeah,
without action. Yeah. So but yeah, because I'm kind of thinking, so because you saw, well, if you didn't see it, you didn't miss much. Last week when they were showing like this government worker, and she's crying and all that kind of stuff, and then they went to this other story, and it seemed like this lady was the reporter was really happy about Germany, and they have the word police,
yeah,
and
yeah.
she sounded like she was just getting off on it, like, you really can arrest people for uh insulting people? Could you imagine Dick what's it, Don Rickles will be in jail? Oh man, that would be so. He couldn't. He probably couldn't do his thing that today.
No, He'd definitely be incorrect doing anything he did it today.
Oh man. So so it's like I don't know. It seemed like it's just getting weird, but we dodged the avalanche when we didn't get Hills Up Harris in there. So it's like psh, oh man, because I could have seen that coming down the pipe. So
Yeah,
I'm glad
there was really no way she was going to make it in there. Nobody liked her. Her staff
yeah,
didn't like her. Nobody liked her. She was just a very pushy, woke
too full of herself.
peon.
Yeah, I can see why. I mean, there's just some people like that. I used to at Metro State College, there was a girl like that, and she always like it always looked like she always walked around with her nose in the air.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just finally like blew up and said, "Hey," and she only got the job because her sister was the office manager, so she gave her younger sister this job. So she had this nose in the air type of air about herself because her sister is the boss of the office, and you couldn't say nothing to her. God, it was terrible working in that office. Gee, because everybody else would get in trouble except for her because she was the sister's boss. I mean, no, the sister's she was the sister of the boss. Yeah. So that's that one. I don't know, man. It's like, and no one liked her. Well, the other, they were too afraid to say that they didn't like her. But I was the one. I think I was the only one. Oh, I said, hey, I can't stand that lady. And so, unfortunately, I didn't get fired. It was just kind of a surprise. But yeah, yeah. So I was just reminding people that you didn't see what you're seeing now with these other people. Oh, and then the day I'm applying for this grant, PBS grant, um, and so you have to partner with the radio station. Well, I don't want to partner with NPR because they get on my nerves. So I went over to KGNU. Now they do have this. What's that lady? Goodman, far left news reporter, and but they're not. They're but I've been inside that station before, and so I was talking to the guy. I said, "Well, we don't know if we're going to get funding because they may cut our funding out." And I said, "I think they're more closer to cutting out NPR than it would be cutting out just a woke public radio station.
Yeah. What is NPR?
NPR is just public wokeness on steroids. Public public broadcast station. Let's see,
Yeah.
MP. Let's see. I forgot what that name stands for, but anyway, so but every time I call these places, they're so worried that they're going to be the next one on the chopping block. I said, if you're not doing crazy things with the money, if you're pretending to be halfway partial, I don't think you have anything to worry about. But if you know, and then maybe that tells me a little bit about what they're thinking in the background. Maybe that's been their plan is to be, say that for the public, but they have to play that role because that's where they get most of their money from is these woke people or radical left people for the ones who have a job. Who knows? But it's just interesting to see how they're shivering in their boots now, waiting for the 90 days to wind down to see who has a job and who doesn't. So
I mean that would be a scary thought, knowing your job is coming to an end and your uh your past performance was being looked at.
yeah, yeah. Tom Cradle, he said he went into one of these offices downtown, uh, uh, and he asked him like, "Oh, what is your job?" I think it was the EPA in the early '70s or so. It was it was either 80s or 70s. And he asked him, like, what were you doing? And they said, "Oh, nothing. We're just waiting to be given some orders." And pretty much the day was just spent, you know, sitting in the office, just, taking up oxygen, waiting to be saying, okay, go out, we're going to go out and do this, do that. I said, what a job.
No doubt.
I said, that is and to feel like you're deserving of that type of job. Now they got to go into the real world, and if they're good, they'll make it. And if they're not, remember, let me go back to this. How many, okay, when Biden signed that executive order and killed those 50,000 jobs working on that oil rig, that not only caused them to not be able to make the house payment, but what about the restaurants that service them and all the money they were
Oh,
bringing
oh, the
into
oil,
that?
the pipeline, the
Yes,
Keystone Pipeline.
yes.
Yeah.
So they didn't shed a tear. As a matter of fact, I think I heard them say jokingly, "Oh, they can learn coding." Right? I said, "Okay." I said the pendulum is going to come back around, you guys. And so it took 4 years, and the pendulum has come back around. So that was, and so it's no comparison to like that's 50,000. This is going to be more than 50,000. But so just a reminder, so you guys gotta look all this stuff up. Oh, by the way, like, share, support the show. If you can't support with the donation of the cash app, at least like the show. Oh, I did a little short about. Oh, I don't know if you heard about this. Okay, there's a building in San Francisco called the
Oh,
Nancy
Pelosi.
Pelosi building. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Trump, he pulled the
He's
maintenance.
gonna he's gonna liquidate it and then rent office space in it.
Yes. And some of the comments they were saying Nancy Pelosi is gonna have to call Saul. Now, who is Saul? Is he like a gangster or something like that? I've seen that on Netflix, but I never really like watched it. But is he supposed to be like a Italian gangster or something? They
Yeah,
say
something
call
like
Saul.
that.
Yeah. So
Probably a huge gangster.
yeah, so people I got about 500 hits on that one. So nobody so the people are enthusiastic about the a building. Can you imagine that? She didn't even build that building and she had her name put in that building.
Well, because that's where she's
Huh?
her
Suppose she's
constituents
representing.
in there.
Yeah.
That's where she does her stuff from. But it's like I
Hmm.
don't San Francisco. I don't like San Francisco.
I'm gonna think if I don't even think I've been through San Francisco. Uh,
I was only there one time and it didn't impress me at all. But California doesn't impress me. I lived in San Diego for a while, went to LA one time and never went back. Didn't leave anything there, so I didn't have to go back.
I just thought it was just a kind of like bizarre because I was there for about two years. I used to live in Compton, and I had to start where I would have to come back at 1 o'clock in the morning,
Mhm.
and I'm walking, and I can hear people like machine guns, da 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 da. I'm thinking like, what is going on? It's like, am I walking into a battlefield? And then one time I was crossing this place, and it was a fence, and I heard somebody like chains, like somebody like that was like maybe handcuffed to a fence. And I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Oh, we were robbing this warehouse, and the police came up and caught us." And I'm thinking like, is this like you guys don't have nothing to do at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning than to go try to rob a warehouse? And then
Huh.
this one thing that I thought was kind of cool. you remember the story like in the book of Luke and the guys, Jesus just been crucified. The guys are going home and Jesus comes to them, but they don't recognize him. And they start talking, then they don't recognize him until he breaks the bread and then he disappears, right?
Oh yeah.
So I'm walking down the street and this guy, and is that I'm always kind of like cautious. And I started talking to this guy. And he tells him the story. He said, "Oh yeah, I've been shot in the head before and whatever." I'm thinking like, hey, and he's just talking about it like it's like a casual thing, right? And I wonder like, and then when we get almost get to where my block where I have to go, he said, "Hey, I live this way. Hey, it was good talking to you." And then he went another direction. And I often wonder like, was that just an angel who I came across at that time at 2 o'clock in the morning?
Watching over you.
Yeah. So because the way he talked about him is like just like that, and I'm thinking like I don't know, man, because I know some people like I know this one lady a long time. She says, "Oh, I'm missing a bone in my neck," and she says, "Oh, here, feel like this is where I miss. I had cancer when I'm thinking like, I said, wow." Oh man. So I don't know, but it was a very unusual place. I met some very unusual people there in California. And if you went to Hollywood, the most beautiful women are there looking to be discovered.
Yeah.
So I saw a lot of that. Then I guess
End
because
up
of the
being
earthquake,
hookers instead.
what? What?
End up being hookers instead.
Oh, perhaps so. You gotta feed yourself. And then I visit a friend of mine in one of those Hollywood hotels, and I guess because of the earthquake, um, some of those places are not stable. And so I go in the front door, and the door guy said, I need to get to the third floor. And he said, "Oh, you just take the elevator over there." Now I think he knew that that elevator wasn't working. So I'm getting, and then you have to pull the gate, physically pull the gate closed, push the button, and it only went up in between the floor, and it wouldn't go any further. So luckily, I was able to push the button and go back down, and then I just had to take the stairs up. But I think the guy knew that that elevator doesn't go to the third floor. Right. Then when I got there, people had these big dogs behind their doors. And I'm thinking like, you going to work or wherever you're going to go, and you got a big dog in your house, and it just smelled of urine. And I'm thinking like, wow, uh, that was pretty interesting. Just because you think of Hollywood, the Hollywood stars and glamour and all that kind of stuff, but if you go up 2 blocks in, it's another place.
Yeah.
So, but so it was interesting. I was 20, 21 years old, so it was interesting for a young guy to see all this
Being
stuff.
there, getting ready to drop Diddy and Epstein's list.
Oh, yeah, they were saying something about they were hoping that they're gonna because the lady last week she said that she has it and she's
Yeah.
going through the works, and then somehow Cash got put in that same circle of
Yeah,
perhaps.
because he's going to be the one that's, I mean, he's head of the ATF now too. So, you
Hmm.
know, there and with Bongino, there stuff's going to
Yeah.
happen.
So
People
okay.
people are going to be surprised. People are just going to be shocked who they find in all these positions that they have. They're just going to be shocked. They aren't going to believe it.
Yeah. Now I hope they really follow through with that because because I listen to the news at night and I listen to how they sort of like give you a little they jab at Trump, President Trump and all that kind of stuff and do all these little twists in the story.
Yeah.
And it's like I just uh, that's what I want to hear because I stay up until like I go to sleep for 3 hours, then I wake up and then I start listening to the fake news to see how they're gonna spin stuff.
Hmm.
And especially
But the fake news only lasts for, 5 to 10 hours now before it's debunked.
yes, yeah, yeah, you remember the old days when they could spin it for a week.
Well, you could spend it for years. I mean,
Yeah, well, yeah, oh yeah, the Russia.
Kennedy's assassination, Martin Luther King, all that. I
Oh,
mean,
oh
it's
yeah, that is true.
even Nixon. I mean, Nixon got caught on stuff, but he wasn't any worse than anybody else. He just got caught.
Yeah. And I kind of think like, what do they think is gonna happen if they just tell the truth? Maybe they'll stop doing such dirt if they know that, oh, well, we can keep this under wraps for 1 year, 6 months, but then after that, we're gonna just have to spill the truth.
Mm.
But it is what it is. So hopefully we will see those papers because that Epstein papers, and then hopefully, well, I don't know if this will be a part of it because nobody believes that the cameras weren't on, the police cars weren't around, and he hung himself. No, no,
No.
no,
Did
no.
he actually hang himself, or was it somebody else they put in there and he's he turned evidence on everybody else?
Yeah, I mean Epstein, no, no, that's he was too into what he was doing. They say, "Oh, I'm just going to end it all." I mean, I don't think jail would have did that for him. I think he was pushed along, just like that. Who was the guy that was the enemy of the Clintons, and they found that he had committed suicide, but with a rifle, and in the
Rifle
back,
to the back of the head.
yeah, in the back of it there, yeah. I'm thinking like, that's a pretty ambidextrous type of guy. That's but they just, it just goes, and they say, well. Uh, you'll believe anything. Oh man, I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, okay. Anyway, okay, you guys, we've covered enough ground. Leave your comments below, and let us know what you think. And let us know about other topics. I was gonna go through and look through some things that are happening in the music world, but I don't know. I was working on some grants. Tomorrow, will be here. Hopefully, I'll get back in time. I'm going. I go once a year to get my blood tests and all that kind of stuff, and then the doctor wants to see me and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully, I'll get back in time because it's at 2 o'clock. We go on at 5, so hopefully, I'll get back in time. And then Alan will be back. He drinks some moldy coffee, and that really hit his
Oh,
stomach for a loop.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, something about the filter and didn't have any vinegar to clean it out and then his friends got there and they had a new pot and he if he would have just waited, he could have saved himself from all this stuff. So
All right.
it is what it is. So
See
keep
you
him up in
tomorrow.
yeah, so man, yeah. So anyway, so I'm gonna call it and see you guys later.